Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So really quickly, there's going to be a little bit of noise because our AC went out. We have a couple portable air conditioning units going, so those are not going off. It's hot in this house. We live in Texas. It's actually not that bad, but if I turn them all off, it will be. So that's going to be the noise we're dealing with in today's video, plus of course the cats running around. And also my mom and dad are home, so if you hear them talking, that's going to be back there as well. But anyway, today's video is going to finally be my full face of Ulta Beauty makeup. Now I think the only thing that I don't have to complete the full face is a setting powder, a glitter primer, and brow setting gel. Those are the only things. But everything else I think I have, minus brushes. Like, I wasn't buying brushes no. I don't really care too much for the Ulta brushes, so I'm not using those. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Let's go ahead and jump into it because I know normally I talk a lot. Okay, so I do already have my brows done, and I actually use the Ulta Ultra Slim Brow Pencil, and mine's in blonde. I like it. It does get a little heavy, like if you're trying to like really build something up, it gets a little waxy and heavy. This one I'm having trouble with. I need to use some powder to kind of fill it in. I'm going to see if there's one in the eyeshadow palette when I get to it that'll kind of work for it, but this gets a little waxy. It's not a bad product. I don't think I'd repurchase it because I'm not a crazy pencil person, but I have other ones that I do prefer when I do want to use pencils. But this one isn't too bad, and it was pretty affordable. I'll have all the prices and everything listed in the description box like always, because Ulta is a very, very affordable brand. I'm going to prime my face, and I just got a little bitty. If you are curious to see all my Ulta goodies, I did a Ulta haul for everything, and some of the stuff I did return, and I talked a little bit about it in there because I did use it a little bit at that point. But for primer today, I'm going to be using my Poreless Face Primer, and I like priming my face while I do my eyes, right before I do my eyes. That way it has time to kind of sit and settle into the skin. That way I'm not just putting foundation right on top of it and it's not going to slide around. I'm going to kind of pat this in because it is very like a silicone primer. So for eye primer, I've actually had this for a while. I didn't have to buy one. This is their matte eye primer in nude. I liked this when I bought it because at the time I was having issues with like some oily eyelids, and it is very mattifying, so that's good. I don't use it as much now because I feel like sometimes it makes my eyelids look a little too dry. That's what it looks like. It looks kind of gross. It's in nude, so it is a tinted one too. I think I got a little too much. And this brush that I always use for my eye primer, it's an RC Cosmetics brush. I've had it forever. It came in like a set. I bought it when like the Sigma F80 brush was like really popular, and they had like a dupe for it because I bought the face brushes. It was like a set with that, and then a set for the eyes. This is pretty much the only one I have left though that I still use. Okay, so I am going to set this down just very, very lightly because it is so matte. I don't want to get it like really dry. And the eye palette that I'm going to be using today is their Desert Skies palette. I have been itching to do this video because I've used this once. I used it when I got it just to like see how the shadows would work, and I really love Ulta shadows. And their normal shadows, their normal eyeshadow palettes aren't like this. I think this is one of their limited edition summer collections, which I really hope not because I really love it. But this is what it looks like. Normally they have like little rectangle cartons, packaging, and pans. So this is what this looks like. And it says on the back, inspired by the stunning warm tones of the Southwest, this palette features 12 eyeshadows in a combination of matte and metallic finishes. And I did some swatches in my haul video. So I'm going to be taking, there's actually not one light enough for me to take, but I am just going to take Tucson, which is this one right here, and kind of just sweep this all over the eye. Because even though this is a matte primer, I feel like it does really settle into my crease area. So I'm going to first go in with a Morphe M504 brush with, I think I'm going to take Phoenix, which is this one right here. And just put this in the crease. Now these are a little bit of a stiffer eyeshadows, so you don't really get a lot of fallout, which I don't mind fallout. Honestly, I think when shadows have fallout, they're going to be more pigmented when you're first applying them instead of having to build them up as much, but they're also really easy to go light-handed with as well. I'm just blowing this all out in the crease. I'm just being very, very messy with this. Now I'm going to take Melisa, which is this one right here. It's getting into like the more, definitely like a more warm tone brown shade. And I'm just going to focus this right here, the outer part of my eye, and I'm using a Morphe M433 brush. I always start on this side when I should be doing this side. So anyway, I'm doing this right here. Just lightly taking that through this part of the crease, but mostly keeping it here. See, there is a little bit of fallout on my face. This one is a softer one, so there's more fallout in the pan than the first one that I used. It's okay. There is a little bit of patchiness going on with this one, but I think it'll be okay. And notice I'm holding the brush by the very base of it because I want to go as light-handed as possible, and when you start holding brushes higher up here, you unintentionally put more pressure down. So to go really light-handed with stuff, you want to kind of hold it at the bottom. Taking a Wet n Wild brush, I'm going to go in with a little bit of Sierra right here, which is just a little bit lighter than Melisa that I just put on my eyes. See, this one, it's a lot more like firm, so as I'm swirling my brush, you're not getting that fallout like I did with the other one, but also it's a little bit harder for me to get some pigment on the brush. I'm just gonna take this and throw this in the crease to kind of blend everything out a little bit more. I think I'm going to stop there, and for this part of my eye, I'm going to put one of the shades from that palette in it, but I'm going to also top it off with one of those foil shadows. I think I'm going to go with the rose gold one, and this is what I'm talking about. This is foiled shadow that they just came out with. I think these might be permanent. I don't think these are their limited edition. This one is in rose gold leaf. I also have silver leaf, but before I put that down, I'm going to take a little bit of Zion right here, wet my brush, and just put that on the inner part before I lay that down. I was going to do a cut crease, but I did a cut crease in my last video, so I'm just going to kind of carve it out with this shadow, not like putting any concealer down first. And now I'm just going to go back in with that Wet n Wild brush, and I'm going to mix Sierra and Melisa together and blend this out right here, so it's not just like a harsh edge. I think what really attracted me to this palette was I used to live in West Texas, and it is like desert out there, so I feel like just this and then just the colors, it kind of like took me back. And I lived out there for 10 years, so I mean that was like home for the longest time, and it kind of just reminded me of it. And I mean, it's a beautiful palette, so I'm going to wipe away the fallout. I was gonna use tape, but I decided not to, I guess. And then I'm going to set down some glitter primer because I've used these foils once and it was a mess. So I didn't get the Ulta glitter primer because I didn't think I would need it, but I'm just gonna use the NYX one, which is still very, very affordable. I'm just gonna use my finger, and I'm just gonna use my finger for the foils because I found that's kind of how they work best. I don't know if these are supposed to be like a press thing or loose, because mine are loose. I don't know if they just got broken because a couple of my things from this order were broken. I mean, just look at this. I'm just gonna like lightly dip my finger, and like not a lot comes off, but it's like just putting like little flakes on your eyes, honestly. Whoa, like look how much that intensified it. It's crazy. It's so beautiful. Okay, so I'm not gonna go too far overboard with this because I think that's what was my problem the last time also, is I went crazy with it. I put so much on. Isn't that just so gorgeous? Now I'm going to just blend some more of those matte shadows on the outer part to kind of blend together just a little bit better. Hopefully not make a mess with it. Then I'm going to move on to the face. Before I move on to the face, I'm going to go ahead and do mascara for my top lashes and falsies because I'm going to do my falsies off camera. But for my top lash mascara, I'm going to be using the, hang on, I got makeup on it. I'm going to be using the Amped Lashes. I would be able to know if I'm showing you guys stuff in frame, but my cat's sitting right in front of my monitor. So, the Amped Lashes from them. And then for my falsies, I'm going to be using the Love Melisa Michelle Bling on the Glam falsies. This is my original pair. After this use, I'm going to throw them out. But I do have backups. So I'm going to go apply these. And I just use the Kiss Lash Glue for this. And I will be right back. So let's go ahead and do the face. I'm going to start with concealer. And this is the Full Coverage Liquid Concealer that says it's waterproof. I have mine in Light Cool, which I think is the lightest shade. Some of these don't have the biggest shade range, and this has an odd scent too. Yeah, the shade range isn't awesome on all their like face products, and I did actually buy a face powder, but I hated it, so that went back. I'm actually going to use this. I know I shouldn't because it's a lighter color over all these red spots, but it's so full coverage. Love it. So I'm just going to be using my Ulta sponge and blending this out. I can't get over this eye look. It's so gorgeous. And I like doing this because the foundation that I have from them I absolutely love, but it's not the fullest coverage. It's actually kind of a light to medium buildable coverage, but I love it, which is the HD Soft Focus one. I originally bought their full coverage, which I returned. I didn't like it. I used it a couple times, and I bought their stick foundation, but when I returned it I just didn't exchange it for the right shade, so which I'll eventually get again, but for now I love this one, and I love using it with the sponge. I think the shade is like a smidge too dark for me right now, but I can usually get away with it. I forgot to mention when I was talking about my brows earlier that Ulta has this product right here. This is the brow tint, and I got that thinking it would be like a setting gel. I've actually had that for a while, but it's actually a brow tint. So say you're doing like extremely natural makeup one day, but you still want something in your brows without filling them in, that will give you so much color, and it's like a little spoolie. So it's just like you brush it through and it just makes you look like a light filled in brow. Okay, so I just have put some powder under my eyes and around my nose and on my smile lines, and I'm going to quickly set my face. I'm going to go back to an old favorite, which is the Too Faced I Want Candy Banana Pudding Powder, and I'm actually kind of curious to see if that banana powder they put out with their Tutti Frutti collection is similar to this, because if it is, I'm going to have to get me some. It still smells so good. because I love it. And you know, I was in Ulta today and I forgot to look. I meant to look and I forgot to. Okay, I have some lash glue drying right there. Just ignore that. For bronzer, I'm going to be using the matte bronzer. This is the one in Cool. I think they have like a cool and a warm and maybe something in between. I'm not 100% sure. I'm actually going to use a Real Techniques Duo Fiber brush. I don't think they sell these anymore, but I love it. And I'm just going to lightly bronze. This is very pigmented, so I definitely recommend going very light-handed with this. While this is there, I'm going to finish my eyes. I'm just going to use a Morphe M432, oh, if I can catch it, which is this flat brush, and I'm going to take a mix of Mesa and Sierra on this. Just kind of tip in and just run this along the lash line. Now I'm just going to take a Morphe M506 brush, which is a tiny brush, dip into Phoenix, which is that color that we put in the crease, take a little bit on that, and run that under my eye to kind of blend it out. I'm also just going to take that brush with a little bit of Sierra on it, and then just go right here around it, because that did kind of transfer up a little bit, so I'm just going to kind of blend where it transferred a little bit higher. Now I feel like I need a lighter color under my brow bone, so I'm going to go into the Melisa Michelle Bling on the Glam palette and go into some Rotorman, just on that first brush we used to set the lid down. I think I'm going to add just like a really thin line, and I have, this is from that little kit I got that I showed in my haul, the classic felt tip liner. So I'm just going to run this along my lash band to kind of hide it a little bit. So for my bottom lash mascara, I'm going to be taking the legendary Lynx mascara. This, oh, before I do that, let me do eyeliner. I'm taking the gel liner in chocolate for this, because I think black would be just a little too harsh. I mean, look at that. That compared to this looks good. Really quickly, I kind of want to be a little extra, and I'm going to take the other foil that I have, which is in Silver Leaf, and I'm going to try to put this on the inner corner of my eye. This one is really messy and really messed up. So how I'm going to do it, so I'm going to take this little baby brush that I have, a little bit of glitter glue, and just pack it in there. That's a little extra, but I kind of like it. For blush, none of their individual blushes stuck out to me, so I'm just going to go into the Bling on the Glam cheek palette for blush. I'm going to take Mahal, which is this one right here. And this was also the same one that was in her first collab with them. I don't like their individual highlights. I've actually had this in my collection for a little bit. This is their strobing palette. It has a cream and then 4 powders, which if I would have remembered, I would use the cream because it's really pretty. But the cream and this color right here are pretty much the same, so I'm going to actually be using this color right here. They're not named. This one I think was $18, and I do believe they still carry it. I'm going to take a Morphe M510 brush for this. Be ready to be mind blown by it. It's actually probably a little too pink for this look, but it's the only one that'll like really work for me, and it actually almost looks gray. So I'm gonna actually take a little bit of this one on top of it. Maybe that'll help tone down the gray a little. It helps a little. I didn't get any new lipstick, so I'm also going to use one from the Melisa Michelle collab, the one in Spicy, because I feel like this kind of turned into a fall look, and I'm not mad about it, and this one is perfect for fall. So now I'm going to set my face with the Dewy setting spray from them. I just got the little sample. Make sure there's not a cat behind me. So what do you guys think? I know the eyes are a little dramatic, especially with this inner corner stuff, but I actually love it. The only thing that I'm not too happy with is the eyebrow pencil. It's just waxy and kind of hard to work with it, and it just, like, my eyebrows are very sparse, and when I try to put powder on it, the powder and the pencil didn't really go well together, so it's kind of not my favorite. And this could actually be a very nice fall palette. It's very warm. You got some nice burgundies, some nice golds, and then I didn't use this shade. I haven't even swatched it. This one is Santa Fe, right down here in this bottom corner. This looks, oh yeah, that's really pretty. Look at that. That one's gorgeous. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up before you leave and subscribe to my channel as well. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified anytime that I post a video. You can also follow me on all my socials. I'll have those listed in the description box down below as well, along with products and prices like the normal. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!